What is boxing? A barbaric sport? A violent game? There's a lot more to boxing than meets the eye. And if this is all boxing is to you, there's a lot more for you to see. I find peace in boxing. I definitely find peace because I had a lot of, I was one of these guys with a lot of energy, distraction, as we call them. I hate to say it, but you've got your good peers and your bad peers. And I got a lot of bad peers, friends who needed a bit of help and guidance. And I was a smart kid, so I knew how far I could go. But there was no problem with me going out and partying and having fun with them. But I knew when to get out and when not to, And boxing just gave me something to channel this aggression, because I was very aggressive first. As I say, I got a flip side of me, and a couple of times I was warned, and I was used to use it somewhere else. And the prime example where it works for somebody is Anthony Joshua. Look at Anthony Joshua, 2009-10. He's a trouble kid. He was a trouble guy. And his trainer took him to the courts, and when he was going, and said to the judge, "Give me 1 year with him, I can direct it." And that was a similar story, And his trainer directed him the right way, and the rest is history. Mike Tyson, another trouble kid. Muhammad Ali. He was due to get sentenced for a juvenile offence. The trainer again begged the judge. So it does work. There's no science about it. It's work.
So I've been boxing for about 3 months now. The more you learn boxing, the more you learn when not to, engage in aggressive behaviour. It's more of a taming of that same capacity for malevolence, as opposed to, just letting people explode and do all that sort of stuff.
It's been a while now, a number of years, probably I've been involved in boxing probably about 10 years now, something like that. So yeah, it's been a while.
I don't think people really understand it until they've done it themselves. A lot of people probably have associations of, it's just fighting. It's all about just who's the most aggressive, but it couldn't be more different in reality.
Boxing's come a long way nowadays, in the sense that, we've gone from the days of, big, long 22-round fights whereby gloves were just 2-ounce gloves and it wasn't really regulated. Maybe back then it could have been considered violent, but now we've got a lot of things in place whereby the health and welfare of our boxers is looked after. I mean, there are some horror stories in boxing, but there's a lot less major trauma and health problems in boxing than there is in comparison to a lot of other sports, i.e. football and rugby and American football, etc.
It's in our blood. It's in my blood. It's in my family. It's something we are a big boxing family up north, huge family. So we're known for it. And when I came to Cheltenham, it was absolutely weird. There was no boxing club in Cheltenham, and I wanted a boxing gym to train out at, and there was nothing. So I went down to the municipal office where the council of Gloucestershire is, and I said, "Why is there no boxing club around here?" And then they explained to me, boxing was banned from Cheltenham because of an incident in a certain boxing club years before I got here. So it wasn't supervised properly. And when they found out who I was and what I'm about, they gave me the go-ahead.
I was inspired by my Uncle Pat, and I was inspired by my family. My family has always been massively into boxing, and I'd say the old greats from my era. So the greats from my era would have been people like Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Prince Naseem, Joe Calzaghe. All those guys were just in my eyes, I remember sitting up not really late, but it would have been considered really late at my age. I'd say when I was about, 11 or something, sitting up sneaking and watching them guys box on ITV like many years ago and just thinking, yeah, that's what I want to do, like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess now I do it more because I love it, whereas at first I was doing it because I felt like I had a lot of stuff I needed to express, a lot of built-up things to let out. But now I just got addicted.
Today, I've had it with all the schools around Gloucestershire. There's a lot of bullying going on. A lot of bullying. Girls, you know, it's a lot more with the girls now. And my idea is that I had a project going back with the council, Gloucestershire Council, where I was sent certain schools and certain groups to work with, and I would go to the schools and talk to them and try and help them, you know, to channel it and how to calm it, and you know, and that way. But now the cutbacks from the government, that project went out the window. So that was one big thing. If we could go around certain projects, schools and certain activities and groups, and get them young, it will help.
There aren't many opportunities socially to express things like aggression, for example, at school, just in society. Whereas going to the boxing gym, that's the point. It's using that same resource of resentment, anger, anxiety, and turning it into something constructive, which is building confidence, learning to defend yourself, you know, and helping others to do the same thing.
Well, we've had kids that come in sort of believing, you know, they're going to be the toughest kid in the gym and not making a bad situation out of it, but some of those children and people, and maybe even adults, I've put in with, like, I put a 16-year-old boy that thought he was the hardest, best boxer in the world, and I put him in with a 12-year-old girl that had been boxing for 3 years, and she outboxed him, and that humbled him. And after that, this mode of thinking, this attitude that you've come to this place, we don't inhabit that here. That doesn't happen here.
So, you know, it does help, you know, because, you know, you get in that stage where you need something to vision, and you can come into a room and hit some pads and hit some bags and just get your thought together and go from there, you know. Guys come out of prison or Borstal, you know, nowhere to go, nothing to do, and they can go to a boxing gym and just hit some bags and just keep them off the street, keep them focused, you know. And I'll sit here all day. I've got guys who's just been released from Borstal or whatever, and they come up to here and say, can I hit some bags for a bit, or can you just give me 10 minutes? And I find that. I do that quite regularly. If it's going to help them, that when they, you know, that's something for them to do when they get out or focus on, and give them time to assess themselves again, I'm ready.
The look in the eyes of, like, the youth that we take out to these shows when they've won their bouts, or even when they've lost, when they've just, like, when they've given their all, do you know what I mean? When they've gone out there, they've trained for a number of months and months and months, and at the end of that fight, they come back to the corner and like give you a hug. It's an amazing thing. It's like, you know, people don't see that side of boxing, but, like, you know, being a coach and a mentor to some of these kids is just an awesome thing for me, because I can see in them, you know, maybe some of the bad mistakes I made when I was their age and stuff. And I think boxing's an awesome thing to sort of, like, instill discipline and, you know, as corny as it sounds, love, like, to some of these kids that maybe never have had it, like, elsewhere, you know. The ethos of a gym is like, it's almost like a family, in the sense that, like, a lot of kids nowadays, like, maybe through no faults of their own, haven't got, like, father figures or mother figures or brothers and sisters, or, you know, that family unit that they need to support them. Not saying that we're going to replace that, because we never will, but, like, boxing and, like, you know, especially boxing in this country, we're a family, and we support our youth, and we nurture them to do good in life, not just in boxing, in and out the ring. And you know, I want to be a talisman for that. I want to be able to really build up, like, the youth of like this country, or especially in my community, and get them, 1, disciplined, 2, being brilliant boxers, and 3, being really good human beings, and not necessarily having to sort of resort to some of the stuff I did when I was young, before I sort of saw the error of my ways, type thing, yeah.
Good. Well, the thing with Pat is he can spot it. He can look at a person and he can say, I know what their problem is, and then he'll lay out the path in front of them and just help push them in the right direction to get where they want to be in themselves. Darren's the same. He just brings his character and his personal experiences in and how he's overcome things, and he do the exact same thing. He'll look at someone and show them how to, you know, how to express themselves in boxing, how to develop their skills and get focused on something which is good for them.
That's a prime example he does there, you know, and you know, I've tried to, and that's why I got him down here, to give me a hand, because it was a way of focusing, because he's a clever kid, but he got with the wrong crowd, as he's told you, and you know, and he was in and out, and we've worked with people that works with him, and the police, and they said, look, you know, your cousin Pat's got a brilliant gym. Why do you know, why are you getting in trouble? And he's just proved it right, that it works, you know, getting his head focused with helping the kids and himself, and he's found his feet again, and he's, you know, he's on the way up.
You just you use that energy to build yourself. You become a stronger version of yourself every time you come in, and I guess that's what boxing's all about, really.
So yeah, hopefully we can build some bright futures with these young boxers. Yeah.